there are still going to be a percentage of an agent population that are just not going to do what they're supposed to do. So how do we lead that? I mean, that's kind of hard because in the employee world, we're firing those people as managers, but as leaders, how do we deal with people that are good people that just, may not appear to have the same drive? Hi, this is Brian Icenhower, and I'm here to talk to you about real estate team leadership. And real estate team leadership, it is, I've got a lot of team leaders that just doubt themselves as leaders of the real estate team, as a real estate brokerage. And I think we all do. I think as leaders, we all consistently go through periods where we doubt our own leadership ability. And so, leadership training is crucial, that we're always trying to kind of hone our skills and perfect our craft. Because remember, leadership is not as natural as a lot of stories and movies would let on. Leadership is a learned skill set that we can get better at. Even a terrible leader can be an amazing leader with enough focus, concentration, practice, and learning. Kudos to you if you're watching this, because this is us, you and I, working on our leadership skills. So I think the first thing to think about when being a leader in real estate is there's a big difference between manager and leader. I almost look at manager as somewhat of a bad word in real estate, because if your organization, let's say your real estate team, if your plan is to grow and you want to increase your production from 100 units closed in a year to maybe 200 by the end of the year, maybe it's to get to 500 closed or 1,000 closed at some time in the future. We don't need someone to manage things the way they are. We don't need a manager. We need a leader that people will follow to take us to a different place. A leader transforms an organization into something different. And the people on the team buy into that. Because of the leader's influence, they want to go where the leader is taking them. Whereas a manager, the implication is something very different. A manager is someone who's problem solving and continuing to maintain the status quo on the team. We're just going to manage it and make sure there aren't problems. And that's, I think, by definition, I'm not saying that someone with the title manager can't lead to. I'm just talking the very basic bare bones difference in the layman terms, back and forth as to the way the different titles are perceived. So a leader is someone that wants to go someplace. And it's a lot harder to be a leader in real estate than a manager in the real world. You see a lot of people from a managerial position in the normal business world move into real estate and find a lot of their own management practices don't work. And the main reason is, as a manager, you're managing employees oftentimes. And they do what you say, or they get fired, or there's implications, or they don't get promotions and things like that, because they're W-2 employees that are dependent on you for a paycheck as their manager. Whereas in real estate, it's a little bit different. Now we're moving into independent contractors, where if agents don't like what you say, they will just leave your team and go to another one, or walk across the street and go to a different real estate brand or brokerage. They'll move around until they find a place where they're appreciated. So they may not just do what you tell them to do if they don't want to. It's up to a leader in real estate to make people want to follow them. And that's where leadership by influence comes in. We have to actually be a very strong leader to make people want to follow us. Whereas a manager is able to lead just by the very position, the very fact that they hold the title and their employees are subordinates underneath them. They have to do what the leader says. In real estate, we have to have influence over them and make them want to follow. So it's much more important to develop leadership in real estate if you are going to grow a real estate team or a brokerage or what have you. I'll tell you a mindset for you, and that can be very hard because you'll see people on your team or your brokerage not doing what they're supposed to be doing. I mean, a very small percentage of real estate agents succeed at a high level, and the vast majority struggle. It's not common for in your local multiple listing service for 40 to 50% of the agents to not have even closed a single transaction in the last year. That's very normal if that's the case in your MLS. It typically is. I bet you if you were to look at the numbers, you'll find a huge chunk don't sell much production at all. And only 10 or 20% of all the agents in your local multiple listing service will do 80 to 90% of all the business. So it's a very small few that are doing a lot of the business. So then if you look in your organization, at your real estate team or your real estate brokerage, you're probably going to see the same numbers, where it's a very small few doing the vast majority of the work. And the majority of the agents are not doing what they should be doing. Now, at Icenhower Coaching and Consulting, we do try to help our leaders with that. We give them training, accountability tools, and systems so that agents do get up and running. But we can't do everything. So we do help those numbers increase. There's no doubt about that. However, there are still going to be a percentage of an agent population that are just not going to do what they're supposed to do. So how do we lead that? I mean, that's kind of hard because in the employee world, we're firing those people as managers. But as leaders, how do we deal with people that are good people that just may not appear to have the same drive? And so what I always tell people to do is try to look at it almost like a parent would their children. You're not going to fire your children. You're not going to give up on your children. You're going to stay with them and continuously try to be positive and try to be supportive. There will be rules. There's no doubt about it. There's going to be some rules, and there's going to be consequences for things that are done, definitively wrong against those rules. But for the most part, as a general theme, we're positive, we stay supportive, we're understanding, and we provide them with nurturing tools, mentoring, guidance, so they can grow and they can, turn into adults themselves where they don't need the parents anymore. Same thing is true with our real estate agents. We're trying to help them build their own businesses within our organizations, grow and generate business, bring it to the team or the brokerage, and so that they can earn more money and get what they want in life. But they won't always work at the level you do. I mean, if you're the leader, that means you probably earned that position, which means you're one of the rare few that succeed at a high level. You can't expect everybody to be you, or they wouldn't need you. And that's really important. There's usually a very small number of leaders and a lot of followers. That's the way it works in any industry. There's only a few people that are leaders and the bulk aren't. They are following a leader. The fact that you're trying to get all of the followers to be a leader kind of removes your job security. We don't need you anymore. So please understand that your job is to stay supportive, and let's don't get frustrated at the ones that don't follow. We stay positive. We do our part in this whole thing. We provide our systems, our tools, our standards, and our mentoring, our accountability. And then that's it. It's up to them to meet us halfway. And that's really important. They have to do their part too. And they will do it on different terms, at different times, at different stages of their life. You'll be surprised. You'll have an agent that's totally non-responsive that you've written off as someone who's never going to make it, that just doesn't have it. And then all of a sudden, 3 years later, boom, they respond to you. Who knows what they went through in their personal life to develop that sense of urgency? Who knows what they got finished with? Who knows what's going on? Everybody's very different. There's tons of life circumstances that are way outside your control as a leader. And if you get too invested in individual agents succeeding in their results, when they don't get the results, it's going to be too difficult on you. You won't be a good leader for everyone else. And you will be very frustrated with yourself, your own career, and our profession. So it's really important that we only own up to our half of the street. We can't be cleaning the yards across the street. We just got to keep our yard clean. So, we do our part. And then we hope that the agents clean up their side of the street, do what they need to do, succeed, and do the work, so that they will ultimately succeed. Our job is to stay positive with them, supportive with them, and encourage them until they finally do it. And that's the idea. And I think that helps, is that parenting mindset. If you can keep that in the back of your mind, you won't get so frustrated with agents that aren't doing what they should be doing to get the results they want. Because that frustration is what makes this industry so tough, because it really is a numbers game. And it's a very small percentage of the numbers that do succeed at the level that we as leaders expect. So you're really fighting a losing battle if you're holding everyone to that standard. Hope that helps you guys. If it does, please like the video by clicking the button below and click the subscribe button to subscribe to Icenhower Coaching on YouTube. You could also subscribe, or you can also connect with us with Icenhower Coaching on Instagram and Facebook. Or if you really want a lot of great free tools and content, go to therealestatetrainer.com. therealestatetrainer.com and subscribe to us there. We'll get you in our newsletter. We get you lots of great training content. It's all free too. Tools, scripts, dialogues, systems, everything will be coming your way that way. And you can check out the website. I think that would be wonderful. For now, just like the video, subscribe to us, and we'll see you next time. Thanks again.